and so when there's light, they kind of get paralyzed and they keep moving. And so if they get out of
At a point, we had 15 pounds of worms inside the house. They're the easiest pets you'll ever have. I've killed fish, I've killed plants, nothing bigger, but earthworms have survived everything. My name's Akil, and I founded a company called The Box of Life. It's a social enterprise that helps people build healthy soil using their food scraps, and all of this can be done indoors using the humble earthworm. My knowledge is purely from practical experience, and I found it to be a very easy process. So I just want to share my experience and my design with everyone. I was trying to find ways to build something physically to improve the society that I live in. I should have started this 10 years ago, in hindsight. So the Box of Life essentially is fundamentally a box filled with a lot of microorganisms, earthworms, visible insects, all part of the composting food chain. And not only does it have a lot of life, but the end product, which is the worm casting, is nature's best fertilizer, and it leads to life in the form of plants that we eat, and that's why the Box of Life. In most cities, at least when I grew up in Mumbai, we didn't experience the outdoors unless we went on holiday. So in this case, I get to
New challenges.
get a biology lesson in my own house. We have to educate our customers. We're basically educating them to create demand for our product. So once we go through the basics of composting, we will start to construct it. Essentially, what you're going to build is this Box of Life. So this workshop gives them that initial level of exposure to working with tools, and more powerfully, it makes you build something with your own hands that you're now putting in your house. Just building it themselves adds so much more value as opposed to them just buying it. That's it. So let's get some coffee, because I think I need some as well. And then let's get to build. All right. So the fertilizer, the worm castings that you call it, it's also black gold.
No, I've always loved worms. I grew up on a farm, and so when my father would use from the manure pile to fertilize the fields, sometimes the worms were like 2 feet long that had been composting in the nice hot manure pile all winter. So they were enormous. So these worms are like little disappointing almosts, but
I don't know, it's weird, but I carry a small box of worms around when I talk to some people, and I show them, hey, this is straight from my worm bin, it's from my compost bin. This, what you're experiencing, what you're seeing, what you're smelling, is what a compost bin smells and looks and feels like. It reminds me of soil when it just rains. That's the smell you should get out of your compost bin, like nature.
I wanted to try it. It's been over a year, so.
About what? Sorry?
Yeah, I wanted to try that before, but you were always a bit like, oh no, I don't want to have worms in my house.
But 85% of the city buildings don't have access to that, so there's a primary access issue. So there are a lot of people in the urban environment that want to compost or want to have less smelly garbage, but they can't because the city doesn't provide that facility. We have a lot of climate inaction, I think, around us, and the reason is because we don't really understand how people function. A lot of people have values that, yes, I want to save the planet, I want to be kind to humans, I want to be kind to animals, but then their actions don't really reflect that. The biggest barrier, I think, is the lack of correct information or the lack of information. So composting is it's the easiest way to reduce your landfill. It doesn't require complicated machinery, it doesn't require tons of investment, it just requires you to balance your food scraps and let nature do the rest.
this is my 2 layers. I just need the covering for the bottom now and the lid, and I'm done. No, I will knit them little coats too in case it gets cold.
So I'm moving into being a worm farmer, which is pretty cool. Try to grow them and then address the lack of supply in the city. So I can provide the complete solution. Hopefully, the Box of Life can be a full-time gig in the near future. And keep at it. If you have problems, reach out to me. I'll be able to help you out. And with that, if you have problems, don't give up. Find solutions, because once you find that solution, you're most likely not going to have that problem again. And there are very few problems you can have. So keep at it, and you will succeed. This is my passion project.